Hello guys, DMC here bringing you the patch notes for patch 1.04 for Black Ops 3. A lot of updates in this patch, and I'm going to start with weapons because I think that's probably what you're most interested in. So the first category is submachine guns, and the first gun we have is the Kuda. Increased recoil control. Now most likely what that means is there's less side-to-side recoil and it's more of just a vertical recoil, so it's easier to control, stay on target. Same thing for the Weevil, they increased the recoil control for that. Now the Razorback also got increased recoil control, but it also got an increase to the damage range, which is pretty interesting. I think that's good change for the Razorback. The Vesper, on the other hand, they actually reduced the damage range, which is interesting. That thing was already very powerful up close. Now it's less so from, I guess, a medium range, which I think is a good change because that gun is really a king up close. The VMP, they reduced the aim down sight speed and they reduced the hip fire accuracy. So I think a lot of people were saying the VMP was a bit overpowered. I don't know if it was really overpowered, but it was definitely a good gun, maybe a little bit better than some of the other ones. And so now with this update, it's a little bit more in line with the other guns. So those are the submachine gun changes. Assault rifles. The KN-44 got increased recoil control, and also the HVK-30 got increased recoil control. And I think that's two good changes, to be honest, especially for the KN. The KN was a great gun in the beta, but the way the maps are playing out, there's a lot of spots where you can hide behind a box, you can head glitch behind something, and what that means is the person who's hiding really has a big advantage over you, because when you're first shot, even if you're on target with your first one or two bullets, you have to aim so high that the recoil of your gun is probably going to take those next couple shots up over their head. Whereas for them, they can aim lower on your body and they can take you out. So this is a change that really actually improves how fast the game will play, and it takes away some of the advantage of just camping and waiting. It gives a little bit more of a benefit to people who are rushing and people who are being aggressive. And I think one thing that that's going to do, and I think it's something they're really trying to do with this game, is make it a lot more exciting, not just to play and keep the pace up for players, but they want to make the game more fun to watch. So making it so it's easier to challenge someone who's behind cover is a big change that will help with that. And you know, I think they're doing a really good job balancing things. So it won't be too big of a change, but they did do that. All right, so that's a little bit of an explanation of, I think, why they're increasing the recoil control on those two guns. Same with ICR. They also increased recoil control on that gun, which is pretty crazy because it was already very accurate. And they reduced the hip fire accuracy. In the beta, hip fire was very good. I feel since the launch, hip fire is not really as good. It's much more in line with previous Call of Duty games. And they also fixed an issue with the reload animation when a certain magazine was equipped. So I guess there was a problem with that. Man-O-War, again, they increased the recoil control. Man-O-War has a little bit different recoil pattern than the other guns, in my opinion. I feel that the first few shots are pretty on target, and then it starts to rise up pretty quickly. So I guess they changed that. M8A7, they reduced the fire rate. I guess they thought it was too fast. And XR2, they reduced the movement speed. Most likely the movement speed was accidentally set too high, and it's now probably in line with other assault rifles. So, next category, shotguns. The KRM-262, they increased damage. It says it will now be a maximum two-shot kill. I'm sure that's not what they meant. You're not going to be two-shotting people across the map, you know, with the KRM. You know, it's not a court case. You can't be like, well, but you said it's a max two-shot. I'm sure that's not what they meant. I'm assuming what they mean by max two-shot kill is anywhere within the KRM's kind of shotgun range. Shotguns usually have a maximum effective range. And so I guess what that means is as long as you're anywhere within that range, which is usually about 15, I think feet is the game unit, or 15 in-game units, you'll get it in two shots, which is good because, once again, the KRM was really good in the beta, but I feel it hasn't been nearly as good once the actual game came out. All right, the 205 Brecci, they increased the damage range, and the Haymaker 12, again, they increased the damage range. So just making shotguns a bit more competitive. It's definitely true that if you get into a medium range gunfight with a shotgun, the other person can kind of just boost back, jump out of the way, and there's nothing you can do. So just trying to make shotguns a little more competitive. I know it's annoying when you come face to face with a shotgun and you put two bullets into them and then they drop you with one shot. That is annoying, but, you know, as people will note, you're not seeing 100 kill gameplays with shotguns, really. You know, you're not seeing too many people like beasting with the shotgun. It definitely does take skill to play really well with the shotgun. So I think it's okay that they boosted those a little bit. All right, light machine guns. First up is the Dingo. We've got increased movement speed while firing. So it's kind of like adding a mini stock. They kind of added a stock buff to this. So I think that's a good thing. Increased recoil control. Again, I think really with a lot of these things, they want to make it so the gameplay is faster paced. The gunfights will be shorter, more shots on target, and it also reduces the effects of people taking cover. So I think that's a good change for the game. 48 Dredge, they reduced the fire rate, which I think is fine. When that gun first came out, it was pretty ridiculous. You could really drop people with one burst from across the map, and if your first burst didn't take them out, you could easily just follow up with a second burst. It was almost auto. You're firing 6 shots at a time anyway, so that was pretty crazy. So that's okay that they reduced that fire rate. I think that's fine. Pistols, the MR6, they increased the movement speed. RK5 increased movement speed and reduced the damage range. And the LCAR9, they increased movement speed, reduced damage, and reduced hip fire accuracy. So these are some kind of mixed changes here. Increasing movement speed on pistols is pretty crazy because when people are running around with a pistol, it can be very hard to track them, especially if you have a bit of lag. I often find that the character that you're looking at, the image you're seeing is definitely out of sync with where the character is according to the network, according to the data points and the calculations. So to me, increasing the movement speed, I'm not really a fan of this change. I don't think pistols are imbalanced per se, but when you add in the lag and that fast movement speed, it's a bit like the Black Ops 2 lightweight. If you guys ever had issues with that, where you check a corner or you look one direction, there's no one there, and then suddenly you're just dead, and you watch the kill cam, and there he is. There's a guy just looking right at you, and with lightweight and a bit of lag, a guy could come right around a corner, and he was there on his screen, but on your screen he wasn't there yet. So that's kind of a problem, but pistols, again, a little bit like shotguns. People who are running around killing you with pistols, they're either really good players or they're just kind of having a good time. So it's not going to majorly upset the game balance. So once again, I think it's okay. It's a bit annoying, but I think it's fine. For the suppressor, they increased the damage range, which I think is a good change because in this game the suppressor has been quite weak compared to other Call of Duty games. Laser sight, they increased the hipfire accuracy for assault rifles and light machine guns. So that won't affect people rushing and hipfiring you with the submachine gun, but it will be good for those of you who have a little bit lower sensitivity. You get into a panic gunfight and you might be able to hipfire with your assault rifle or your LMG. I think that's a good change. It makes the laser sight just a little bit more usable. I haven't seen many people using it, so I think that's good. Fast mags increase the reload speed. That's fine. A lot of times you got to reload in this game, especially when it seems it takes more bullets sometimes to kill people. Rapid fire. So they changed to increase the fire rate and not the burst delay on burst weapons. That could have some pretty major impacts on burst weapons. I don't really know what that's going to do yet. That will take some real testing. And next is dual wield. They reduced the movement speed and they reduced the switch weapon speed. So again, 2 changes just to make it so someone can't just come around the corner, switch that out, and just instantly melt you quite as easily. I think, again, that's a good change. For equipment, the only change we have here is concussion, and they reduced the stun time, which I think probably everyone's happy about that. Stun grenades are really powerful in this game. If you get hit with one, you're pretty much done. You're not going to be able to recover. You can't move for several seconds. So that's a good change, I think. People are happy to see that one. And now for perks, we got a couple changes. For overclock, they increased the earn rate, which I think this is good. It's fun to get your specialist ability faster, and I don't think it's really going to have a big impact on the game. So that's just a fun thing for people who like to use their specialist. Ante-up, increase the starting bonus towards score streaks. Again, a good change. This is not a very strong perk. I don't think many people are running it. It's not as powerful as Hardline. And again, getting streaks is fun. So if you have something that can help you get them, I think that's cool. I'm glad they changed that. Hardwired, they increased effectiveness against enemies who have the Sixth Sense equipped. So again, you're running hardwired. You don't want people to know you're there. That's cool. I don't think this change is necessarily good or bad. I think it's totally fine. So in the next video, what I'm going to be talking about is the score streaks. There's a lot of score streaks coming up in that one. So if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and hit subscribe and like, and that way as soon as the next video comes out, you'll know right away. You can stay up to date with all the latest Call of Duty information and news. I'm DMC. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Get back to boot camp.